Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from the Govardhan Eco Village in beautiful Maharashtra. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubadas. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to, what day is it?
Friday, I think.
Friday Srimad Bhagavatam study. Took the day off yesterday. It was my birthday, Kastuba.
I know.
It was my birthday. We got home for a big little birthday party.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
You happy?
I was really happy.
It was celebrated to your satisfaction?
It was beyond.
Okay.
Ranaswamy was shoveling out the mercy yesterday.
Very nice.
But I had a really Krishna conscious experience at that hospital. It's unbelievable how you can have such a deep spiritual experience. Sometimes people will say, well, I had a spiritual experience at a hospital because I saw people in great pain and somebody dying. And,
or I was looking down at my own body, maybe.
Yeah, I was hovering above my body and my subtle body, and all the pain made me want to get more spiritual. It is that good old Vaishnava hospitality.
This is the Bhaktivedanta Hospital.
Yeah, and they are literally collectively smashing down all barriers between religion, race, tribe, and getting right to the essence of what we are, spiritual beings. They make everybody feel welcome. I've never been to a hospital where I walk in the door and they put a flower garland around me.
I think that's because you're
Okay, they don't flower garland everybody, but they flower garland me. And I was already in tons of anxiety just because of, I'm going to a hospital, getting checked out, going to find what's not ticking properly. And yeah, they were their mood of service is just unparalleled. We got fed twice, and they made me a birthday cake
at the hospital.
They gave me a birthday cake.
Oh,
yeah, I had so much cake yesterday; it was ridiculous.
They
brought us into like a boardroom, yeah. like a board meeting, and it was like about 10 doctors sitting there, and me and Mara, and like a plate of prasad. It was so like. Here they are collectively with about 100 years of education. And here's myself who can't barely made it through high school. And it's like just their mood of love and devotion and service is just
unparalleled.
It's embarrassing and it's wonderful and it's inspiring. And you see, you know what? I want to be like these guys. I want to be like them. And what they've done is they've created almost like a model that you could scale to massive proportions of real healthcare that makes you feel loved and at ease when you're going to a place where a lot of people have fears and doubts but everybody I know who's actually been there, they said it was such a special experience.
No doubt.
Including our friend Tara
Hogan. Yeah.
Who came and broke her leg once.
Broke her ankle or something.
It's like her first day on pilgrimage, and she came early to render service. She slipped and broke her leg. And we brought her right to the Radhaswamy said, let's go to the hospital right now. And at the end of the pilgrimage, her statement was, we were talking about our spiritual experiences.
What was the best part of the pilgrimage for you?
She said, going to that hospital was the best part.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. They're special. I'm good.
Good. We're here as a live group.
With the Titans.
The Titans.
called the
There's a group
Titans.
called the Titans. It's a book club, and they're here from all over
These are
the world. Or
all over the world. They're if I understand correctly, it's a group of entrepreneurs. Yeah,
you're all
that
entrepreneurs.
have a certain kind of spiritual, metaphysical kind of interests.
Sure.
I think they met at a certain kind of
Entre-
spiritual, entrepreneurial, spiritual kind of conference, and then they all wanted to stay in touch, and then they created this regular gathering. They meet online, and then every once in a while they come and they meet in person. So the Titans are here. I spoke with the Titans this morning, and some of them are here with us live.
Nice. Welcome, Titans.
Are we allowed to talk about you, or is it a secret society?
Is it a secret society? And if it is,
Can we
can
get
I
it?
join the secret society? Am I barred from the secret? I always wanted to join a secret society. I might have to make my own. Okay.
If you created your own, you wouldn't be able to keep it secret.
Good. Touche. All right. Miss Mara is here with us today,
Oh, announcements?
humbly walking me through the hospital, through all the different tests I had to take.
I think, why didn't Mara have hers get the test as well?
You've got
Oh,
good
you're
health
afraid.
care.
You're
She's got, no,
afraid.
she's
That's-
got
can't
good
do
health.
that.
Yeah.
She's got good health care at home.
Oh, at home.
very
Okay.
recently.
All right.
I did get to sit in on a yuggy at the hospital though.
Yeah. How many yuggyas have you been to at your hospitals back in the States?
You had all kind of
Because she
rituals?
was the lady was bringing me to all the appointments was saying, puja, first pulmonary, then puja, and I was like, infusion, and she's like, puja, and I was like, I don't understand. She's like, then they walked us into another room, and there's a full blown fire sacrifice going on with Brahmins. All the doctors circumambulating the fire, putting the ash on the third. I was like, what is going on here? This doesn't happen at Albany Med and St. Vincent's. And okay, Mara, thank you. I appreciate you accompanying me on my birthday.
I
Thank
was
you.
happy to. Thanks. I appreciate the experience. We have back to recovery group meetings today. There's a non-recovery meeting at 12:30, which is a
Non-recovery.
yeah, it's
Wait,
Yeah,
whoa. What's a non-recovery meeting?
it's a Brahma Samhita Shloka class.
Oh, a non-recovery meeting. It's just a meeting.
It's a yeah.
Oh, that has nothing to do with Bhakti recovery, or it's Bhakti recovery people doing
it's back to
shlokas.
recovery people.
So that's not
Yeah.
non-recovery.
Well, that's the way it's written on their website. I'm
Non-recovery.
reading off of their website.
Meaning you don't have to be in recovery to enjoy the Brahma
Okay.
Samhita.
And then there's also a meeting at 1
Then it-
o'clock
Okay.
as well.
Okay, that's great.
Non-recovery sounds like it might be
Yeah.
going the wrong direction there.
Read it tomorrow. And-
Hare Krishna.
Sorry. Tomorrow's show will be at 6 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Q&A. All right. Raghu,
Okay.
you ready for the nugget?
Yeah. Guests, are we good? We didn't offend you out the door yet? Okay, good.
Still with us?
They're very proper, regal ladies here
They are.
today.
We
Okay.
generally, before we get into the study of the Bhagavatam, we have what we call a nugget, which is just some piece of wisdom that could
Little
come
piece.
from anywhere.
Yeah, could come from anywhere. Where does this come from, Christopher?
This kind of normally we don't take from inside sources, like we don't take from Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavad. We try to take something more broad. But this is actually from our friend Simon Haas,
Oh, Simon
who
Haas.
we've had on the show before. But this is from his book, The Dark Night of the Soul.
Okay.
A very good book. When we had him on here, we discussed his other book, which is called the Book of Dharma.
Hmm.
But we should have him back on and discuss the Dark Night.
Let's
of the
get him
Soul.
back.
The Dark Night of the Soul. A lot of people talk about this book, and
Yeah,
they really appreciate it.
it's
So
loved.
here's what he has to say.
In ancient India, soul-searching crisis was not concealed or imbued with shame, but viewed as an important time of transition, a deep rite of passage.
Have you ever felt shame when you're in a soul-searching crisis?
Maybe not shame, maybe just sort of like, maybe like a little embarrassed or maybe, not shame. Yeah,
It's kind of
but
like shame.
yeah,
I think it's common.
yeah.
I think we're even kind of programmed to, when we see someone's going through a soul-searching crisis, to be like, oh, look at them.
The poor sucker.
He's
He's really
They're going
lost.
through it. I guess they're getting what they deserve now. So it's hard for not a little bit of that to arise in one, even if it's someone that you have nothing against. There's a little bit of that.
Like if I struggle, Do you like relish in oil?
No, no, I don't.
He deserves it. He deserves it. That crazy. Just go.
No.
Hope he gets a little bit more.
No.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Don't
Not at all.
Stephen,
Not at
don't
all.
do that.
I
To me.
don't do that. I don't.
Don't curse me.
Okay, let's continue.
In
Start
ancient
over.
India,
Yeah.
soul-searching crisis was not concealed or imbued with shame, but viewed as an important time of transition, a deep rite of passage.
Okay. Rite of passage.
Well, wait a second. Are we soul-searching, or do you think like when we were 22, we were soul-searching?
I think they're saying that when you go through a crisis, you do soul searching.
Oh, okay. All right.
Who am I? What is my place in the
Well,
world?
what
Why
about
is
like
this
you and
happening?
me? We're on a path. Do you mean like, can we go through that again, like at 30 or 40?
Soul searching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in other words,
So it's a thing that you carry with
enter-
you all the time.
well, there's just the term rite of passage. To pass from one stage of depth in your realization to the next, you might have to pass through a gate, which is going to
Sure.
require soul searching, right?
You know what?
You know,
Yes. Yes, I actually agree. Yes.
It's kind of like there. You could look at the spiritual path as you pass through one gate, which requires soul searching, maybe crisis, that stimulates the soul searching, and then maybe you acclimate yourself to that next stage of advancement and become somewhat accustomed to it, and then to get to the next stage, you may need another crisis, you know,
Yeah.
and
No,
soul search again.
Very immediately I started to realize, yeah, of
Mm.
course, I'm on a spiritual path, but all my shifting things that have been happening in my life have been like it collapses part of the false identity,
Right.
and like, well, you start searching. Well, who am I?
Yeah.
Now that one of the kids has moved out of the house, or two of the kids has moved out of the house, now who I am? Now who am I? And now who I am in my new phase of life. Whether you're, if you're single, if your spouse left, or you get married again, or you have a child, or your children grow up, we're always going into new small I identities. We say small I because the big I identity is I'm a spiritual being who's surrounded by matter, and I'm trying to reconnect in this world. The small I identity is it's always shifting. And so, yeah, I can see how different chapters of my life I've had to sort of like, okay, find my footing again. And that's
soul searching.
Yeah. The rishis or sages of India called it vishada, vishada, which in Sanskrit means despair. They understood that periods of great tribulation, while difficult to bear, can serve as pivotal moments of growth.
It sounds like this term, the Sanskrit term vishada, it doesn't carry the shame or the embarrassment or whatever. It's just like, oh yeah, that's a human state,
right?
That every human goes through. That's becomes very important, and we can look to that state, spiritual growth. That's if we were to look at a history of a person and say, where did they make their most spiritual growth? We might look straight for that state, right? When did they hit despair?
Sure.
And had to soul search.
Sure.
So it's
when we're sort of like all the good stuff is getting poured on us.
Yeah.
Very often we're not looking for some deeper truths. We're just like, woohoo, whoopee.
So it seems like in one sense they're not. It's more they're validating that state of crisis. That state of crisis is a very special. Like it sounds like that's what they're saying. It's a very special time in life. It's a special opportunity. It's not a shameful thing. It's right where the sages knew. If we're not feeling some level of despair, then we may not really be clued in spiritually at all. If we're feeling too at home in this world, then we're probably lost.
I always say if a person's going through it, they must be sincere.
Okay.
They must be sincere, because when Krishna likes you, gives you whatever you want.
And look at
when
this.
Krishna loves you, he takes it all away, because then there's no other shelter except Krishna.
Well, look at the most important texts in the Bhakti tradition. 1, Bhagavad Gita. 2, Srimad Bhagavatam. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's having his crisis. It begins with Arjuna's crisis, right? And his soul searching.
Yeah.
And Srimad Bhagavatam, exact same thing. Maharaj
One
Pariksit,
crisis after
he's
another.
cursed to die. He's got 7 days left to live.
And let me tell you stories about more crises, just like yours. Well, there was this elephant who got trapped by a crocodile.
There's lots of those.
Yeah, there's one crisis after another.
And of course, Kunti's prayer.
And Kunti, her whole life is like a crisis.
And she prays, let these crises come again and again
She's
and
got
again.
this mysterious child she can't connect with,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
The
Karna.
child doesn't like the other children. And her husband dies prematurely. And she's left to live with the king that doesn't even like her.
Or their house gets burned down, they have to go
House
live in
gets burnt
exile.
down. They're living in the forest. No,
Many
wait for that.
crises.
It's a crisis.
Many. Even giving birth to the child of the god of the sun, and
Yeah.
having to put that child on
Put the
little-
child away up for adoption.
put-
You don't even
put
know.
that-
Not you don't even know who's going to adopt that child.
Yeah.
Oh, Krishna.
But
So, yeah.
still, she says, let this happen again and again. She's praying to Krishna, right? Let these calamities happen again and again. How does it go,
Praying.
Tara? You know the verse? You know the
You know
Sanskrit?
the verse? Come on.
You know the translation. Come on in here.
Come
let's
on
hear
in
the
here, Tara.
translation.
Come on down.
Get
You're
over
on the hot seat,
here.
Tara.
Get over
Here's Tara, considered very learned amongst his peers. He doesn't know this verse in Sanskrit now, per
He
se,
will tomorrow.
but he does know the English here, Tara.
What does she pray?
So Queen Kunti, she's praying to Krishna, let these calamities come again and again, because when these calamities come, we remember you more deeply, and then you become present. That's the prayer.
Okay, very nice. Very nice.
Thank you, Tara.
You know, I thought of this because I was speaking with the Titans today.
Oh, yeah? And they were making you feel like, what am I doing?
No, not at all.
I've got to get serious about business.
No. But one of them brought up the question about that we're talking about the mind a lot and talking about how it's difficult to control the mind and how one needs to reflect on certain truths in order to begin to see the world in a different way.
Hmm.
But this Titan asked, but when we hit these very difficult stages or circumstances in life, at that point, it's very hard to reflect on those things. I said, well, actually, that's the key moment right there. That's when your reflection on truth on a regular basis is solid and important and brings growth, but particularly the reflection when there's the reversals in life. Your reflection on truth at that exact point is when it's magnified the effect of that reflection. And so therefore the real yogis, they see these crises, dark nights of the soul, calamities, they actually welcome them, like Kunti's praying. They welcome them because it's the opportunity for a deep spiritual growth. The older Raghunath, the 58-year-old Raghunath.
Oh my God.
The reflective Raghunath.
I was my birthday yesterday, ladies. Oh, regal ladies.
Of the
And
Titans.
Regal ladies of the Titans. But yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, 58.
Is it?
58 years old. Yes, it is.
You felt that was tough. I thought you were
know
just
what?
going.
I rolled with it, except until I tell people I'm okay, until someone says, so how old are you? And then it's like, when I have to say it, that's when I'm choking on it. And I'm wearing a cutoff t-shirt. I can sort of fool a few people. It was this guy, 40 something. If I get a shave, I look a little younger. So sad.
Mara's
isn't
making
it?
faces over there. Yeah, I could.
Anyway.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's dive into the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hit it.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest,
Yes.
one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, Narayan, and to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
What did the doctor say about your eyes? How did that work out?
I need glasses.
All right.
Canto 7, text 1, because we're only on text 1. We didn't even get to the text yesterday.
Yeah, we just read the summary at the beginning of the chapter.
Canto 7, chapter 1, text 1. You ready?
I'm ready.
King Prickett inquired, "My dear Brahmin, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, being everyone's well-wisher, is equal and extremely dear to everyone. How then did he become partial, like a common man, for the sake of Indra, and thus kill Indra's enemies? How can a person equal to everyone be partial to some and inimical to others?"
So it appears to him that Vishnu's partial,
Like Vishnu's playing favorites.
that he likes the devas, he doesn't like the demons. He occasionally even takes out the demons.
Yeah.
Can he really be truly impartial? And if he is not impartial, isn't that a fault? How could he be
Right.
the absolute truth? Prabhupada writes this in the commentary. It says, envy and friendship arise in one who is imperfect. I don't think he means friendship in general, but
Right.
in others, playing favorites. We fear our enemies because in the material world, we're always in need of help.
Yeah.
Always something. The Lord, yeah.
I always need help.
Okay. The Lord, however, does not need anyone's help, for he is Atmarama,
Self-satisfied.
self-satisfied. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam, Yome Bhaktya Prayachati, Tadaham Bhaktyupa Hrittam, Ashnami Prayatat Manaha. If a devotee offers me with love and devotion,
Leaf, fruit, flower,
or
water,
he shall.
I will accept it. He shall accept it.
Why does the Lord say this? He is not actually dependent.
The Lord doesn't need leaves or flowers.
No,
Doesn't need water.
no.
He's got all the water he wants.
Okay, so he doesn't need it. He's not dependent. He is not actually dependent, but he also likes to be dependent upon
Ooh,
his devotee.
That's a nice way to put it.
He
He likes
likes-
to be dependent.
He likes to feel that.
He likes to feel their
Oh.
loving care.
He likes to feel it's the love that he wants. It's not the
Mm.
water that he needs. It's not the flower that he needs.
Yeah.
But it's the love. Therefore, he actually says, Yo me bhakti prachati tadaham bhakti paritya. He says it twice. It's the bhakti. It's the devotion. It's the love that he's accepting.
Mm.
It's being given, in one sense, the rest of it is just a token, right? It's like, let me give you this flower. But it's not the flower that he wants, but it's the love with which the flower is given. That
So-
is the one thing that we have to give. Right?
No, it's just like my daughter made that chess set for me.
You didn't need a chess set.
I didn't need a chess set.
You
I got
never even
lots of
used
chess-
the chess set.
I do use the
Okay.
chess set. I've got a chess set at home.
Okay.
I didn't need it, but she made it with her own hands. This beautiful chess set in wood shop. And the fact that she put hours into it and cared for it and sanded it and finished it was a labor of love.
And then she gave it to you.
She gave it to me as an offering.
And you were touched.
And I was touched.
Okay.
Didn't need a chess set. I got chess sets. I can buy chess sets.
So that's a nice point. He says, is he dependent on the offering of the devotee? He's not actually dependent. He likes, but he likes to be dependent on his devotee. It's his Leela.
Mm.
It's his loving play.
Mm.
This is his mercy. Similarly, he does not fear the Asuras. There is no question of partiality in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's faultless. He's not in need. He's independent, but he likes to feel like he's dependent on his devotee.
Mm.
Okay. Hit it.
Text 2. Lord Vishnu himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all pleasure. Therefore, what benefit would he derive from siding with the demigods? What interest would he fulfill in this way? Since the Lord is transcendental, why should he fear the Asuras? How could he behave? How could he be envious of them?
And by envious, I think especially it means you're hostile.
Hostile towards the Asuras or the demons. Text 4 and 5. Text 3. O greatly fortunate and learned Brahmin, whether Narayan is partial or impartial has become a subject of great doubt for me. Kindly dispel my doubt with positive evidence that Narayan is always neutral and equal to everyone.
Now, okay, so he's put forward his question. And this question is the kind of question that Shukadev Goswami appreciates
Hmm.
because the topic is right. It's not a frivolous topic. It's not a useless topic. It's not a topic that has no deep meaning to it or has no spiritual meaning to it. It's the kind of topic that gets him speaking about Krishna.
Yeah.
And so he likes it.
So the guru is always eager to. You ever asked Radha Swami about like details of a Leela? He gets excited about it. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think Vidura thought? What you
Mhm.
You ask me like some Leela in the Bhagavatam or Leela in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. He gets excited and gives you more information than he asked for.
Mm.
And then sometimes I'll take that conversation and I'll just say something dumb. I'll ask some dumb question to Maharaj. I have like, here is a man who's imbued with transcendental information, and I ask something really stupid. And instead of like responding to me, instead of correcting me by saying that's not an appropriate question, he'll just pretend I never asked the question and just do that famous look away in space. And then it's like, what have I done? That hurts. I wish he would have just said, "You fool," and slapped me. I wish he would have done that instead of just
But then you wouldn't have changed either. He knows exactly
what it takes to
Yeah,
grind me. Growth grind. That look away. Oh, ouch. All right,
Okay.
Krishna.
So the question is nice. Let's hear what's next here. Text 4 and 5.
Text 4 and 5. The great sage Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, you have put before me an excellent question. Discourses concerning the activities of the Lord, in which the glories of his devotees are also found, are extremely pleasing to devotees. Such wonderful topics always counteract the miseries of the materialistic way of life. Therefore, great sages like Narada always speak upon the Srimad Bhagavatam, because it gives one the facility to hear and chant about the wonderful activities of the Lord. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva, and then begin describing topics concerning the activities of Lord Hari." Pretty nice.
Yeah, very nice.
You go right to appreciations first.
Yeah, that's there. A lot to learn from this verse, right?
Yeah.
He appreciates his guru, who's his father.
Mm.
Yes. And we heard at the very beginning of Bhagavatam, at the beginning of the second chapter, the first canto, that Sutta Goswami says it's only these kind of questions that lead to Atma Supersiddhiti, to complete satisfaction of the self. Right? So the question is appreciated, the topic is appreciated, and so he responds that way. I want to read a little something from the commentary here. Srila Prabhupada writes, whenever there's an opportunity to hear about the transcendental activities of the Lord, we must take it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends Kirtanaya Sadahari, that one should always engage in Krishna Katha by chanting and talking about Krishna and hearing about him. That is the only occupation of a Krishna conscious person. And
What's your occupation?
I talk about Krishna.
What's your occupation, Mara?
It is kind of my occupation.
It is, right?
But it's that's what occupies the time.
That's a great way to put it. It occupies my time. And another thing is, if you're even with the group of devotees, but the conversation diverts to something mundane,
Yeah.
it just doesn't satisfy the self. You feel like I just brought the whole conversation down. You got to keep it high.
You got to keep it high. I think when I hear that in one stage of my practice, I think, no, but come on, we can't just talk about this all day.
Right.
Like that's kind of like, are you being like a little exaggerating?
Right.
Speaking a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, nobody does that all day.
Right. Obsessive.
But as the years go by, one might find that actually this is all I really wanted to, and Krishna can kind of adjust your life in such a way that you actually do find there's an eagerness in me. Oh, the Titans have to go on to the next program. Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
You know what I find also, people, I think newer people to bhakti, when they come on a retreat like this or a pilgrimage, and the conversation is always kept very high, and they're like, wow, I've just had a very spiritual experience. Then they go back to their old life, and it becomes blatantly obvious, like, what have I been talking about all these years? And they get angry at their friends at
Yeah.
home. Like, this is such a stupid conversation we're having. It's like,
Yeah.
and so that's part of like the growing pains in bhakti is how to incorporate spiritual conversation, spiritual friendships, spiritual relationships, where it's not just like, okay, I'm just going to kick out all my old friends. Like when you're playing Scrabble, you're going to dump your Scrabble pieces and get all new Scrabble pieces. You got to figure out that balance of how to add Krishna to your life, and bring people into that conversation, or else what happens is, or else you start scaring everybody away.
Mm.
But sometimes could be a good thing. Sometimes I need to scare away some of my old friends.
But I was thinking that to probably most people, they think, okay, I get it. You get together for an hour a day, you read this book, you
Yeah.
get some inspiration from it, then you get on with your life.
Right.
But we can do other things all day. Like, in other words, people can watch television all day, even though, for the most part, it's complete garbage, right? Like, they'll binge out on
I
something
understand what you're
entirely
saying.
meaningless.
I understand what you're saying.
So if we're capable of binging out on something that's meaningless, that brings us no peace of mind, that brings us no deeper insights into life, if we can just binge out endlessly on that, why should we not be able to have an unsatiable desire to hear these ancient texts which has survived for millennia
Mm.
on topics and on topics that are meaningful and infused with apparently like limitless depth? Why wouldn't we
Right.
feel if once we got that taste
Do you need
for
some entertainment? Is that what's going on? Okay, here's the deal.
it?
If you've read the Mahabharata 5 times, read the Bhagavatam twice, read the Bhagavad Gita back and forth, read a few of the other Puranas, then you're allowed to watch Netflix.
And you
You
won't
won't-
want to anymore, though.
Yeah, I know. You know, truthfully, me and truthfully, because sometimes I don't speak truthfully, but
Yes.
truthfully, me and Mara were staying in Airbnb in Mumbai,
Mhm.
and I turned on the television, and they had Netflix. So I opened up Netflix, and I was like, I'd never watched TV, so I was, you know what? I'm here in India. I'm going to click on Netflix, and you know, it's like my day off before my birthday, before I go to the doctor. And I think, well, you know, there's so many Indian TV shows. That's better than watching an American TV show. It's like one step closer to Krishna. Of course, Mara's in the other room, so I'm clicking on it. And of course, it's a murder movie. You know, it's like people will invest so many hours in murderous,
So many hours.
you know, now they do just like, it's like television series. What do you call those? Like miniseries?
Miniseries?
Or I don't know, whatever.
It's like an
What's Breaking
8.
Bad? What's Breaking Bad? Like that
It's a
TV
series.
show? Series. It's a series. And so it's like you can't, even when you finish it, you're like, gotta watch the next one. And then they've got you. It's just like the fish has taken the bait, and now the fisherman just can let you go, reel you in. Their series.
It's our tendency to get hooked. So what are we going to get hooked by?
Yeah, that's a great one. And it's all bait, you know. It's entertainment. Let me entertain you. And Vedic culture had to figure it out before we figured it out. Vedic culture said, we're going to bait you. There's a great battle going on between good and evil. We're going to bait you. There's a great mystic yogi who cursed Pandu. As soon as he has intercourse with his wife, he will die.
I want to hear about that.
You want to hear about that?
Yeah.
Okay. And you know, here's another one. When Karna left the lap of his teacher, he immediately shot 2 deer who were also mating, and they turned out to be 2 great sages. What about that story? You want to hear that one?
I want to hear
The 2
that.
great sages dressed as deers. And he killed one of them, then he got cursed. So it's like it baits us, and the bait, though, is luring us towards God.
Right.
It's reeling us in towards God. All this other bait is reeling us in towards, like, oftentimes
Depression.
depression.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to be some fundamentalist. I'm saying that that's where TV goes right now. Everything is murderous. Everything is dark. And if you want to move away from murderous and dark, well, let's go to something like evil. Then there's like some evil entities, zombie land, right?
Yes. Well, I got some stats for you here. I was thinking of having this for the nugget.
Good. Well, here's some
It's about
stats.
television. And
What?
yes, and connection of television to.
This wasn't planned.
Well, I'm the one that brought up television.
Okay, so maybe it was. Forget it.
But no, but the way that you said it leads to,
Yeah. And what does it lead to? Give me a stat.
there is growing evidence that depression is linked to television watching.
Oh yeah.
A large body of research. I mean, it's
Well,
it's all the stuff that we're talking about, but it's even like just on a biological level. If you're not out in the sun for a
okay.
certain amount of time every day, the chemicals in the body that make one satisfied and happy aren't released. So the more that you're staying inside and staring at that screen, the less time that you're actually getting the juice that you need to just feel a balanced life.
Well, there was some type of governor in place when we were kids. When we were watching Welcome Back Kotter, like that was a great episode. I can't wait for next Tuesday at 8:30. You know, there's a waiting
You're
period.
gonna have
like,
to watch the next episode right then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now kids they'll binge it for hours and they're like, what time did you go to bed last night? And they were like, 2 a.m. Like, you can binge things.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
couldn't binge.
True.
So yeah, and
Yeah.
look at the content. When we were growing up, what was the craziest cop show out there? Was like The Rookies, Adam 12. It was like Adam 12 was like, Adam 12, come on down. There's a kid who got his head caught in between a couple bars and he can't get him out. Bring the grease. You're gonna have to grease his ears. You know, it's like that was like the type of. Nowadays, it's like
Law and Order SUV is just like the sickest minds. Like
the sickest minds.
Okay, but hold it.
Okay. And you know what I think about sick TV shows? I think it creates more sick people.
Of course. Well, that's the whole point.
Call me an extreme absolutist.
You're an extreme absolutist, but go
But
ahead.
I would ban such things. There's no good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say
If
it.
Rugger were king.
If I were king, there would be no evil TV shows giving evil people interesting ideas.
Vote for Ruggu.
I would have never thought about locking people in basements as human prisoners. Never would have thought of that.
Beginning to
I
think
never
you're
would have-
fascinated by these things.
I am fascinated,
Okay.
but I would never think of those things.
All right.
But then they come up and oh, it's a good idea. Oh, then people get these ideas.
Okay, hold on now.
Am I an extremist? I forgot your name.
The Titans.
What?
Neha.
Neha, do you think I'm an extremist? I'm very healthy.
You have her vote.
Okay, Neha from Varanasi. Thank you, Neha.
Okay.
I got your blessings.
You ready?
Yes.
There's growing evidence that depression is linked to television watching. A large body of research has found that people who watch a lot of television are more likely to be depressed than those who don't watch as much. Brian Primick of the University of Pittsburgh Medical School was the lead author of the new study. He says every extra hour of television, get this,
Okay, every extra hour.
every extra hour of television
Mm.
meant an 8% increase in the chances of developing signs of depression.
Really?
So if one person doesn't watch television and another person watches 1 hour television a day, they got an 8% higher chance of being depressed. But what if they watch 5 hours a day, which is not at all uncommon?
Oh yeah.
Now you have a 40% higher chance.
When I was growing up, I remember I was like, I'm going to try not to watch TV today. Couldn't do it. That's how much we watched TV
Addicted.
growing up.
Continuing.
Go on. Continue on.
Association between screen time and depression among U.S. adults. This is the study. It was published by the National Library of Medicine. The finding of this study suggests that screen time is a significant risk factor or a marker of mental disorders among U.S. adults. Since mental health is predicted to be a leading cause of disease burden by 2030, the intervention should be targeted towards the prevention of these kinds of risk factors. It's a risk factor.
It's a risk.
The finding from the study could inform individuals and policymakers to reduce the time limit of screen time.
Policymakers?
I mean, I guess that's mom
Like
and
there's a
dad. It
law?
starts
Or,
there.
oh, I thought that was like me, like as the new king. There will be 1 hour
Yeah,
screen time a day.
that was meant for
I
you.
have spoken.
So anyway, there you go.
There you go. Mara, there's a blessing in my narcolepsy that as soon as we watch a TV, I fall asleep within the first 4 minutes.
Saving you.
I don't let her turn it off.
but that's a bit. So we hear about someone that's like constantly interested in thinking and talking about Krishna's leelas, and we think, oh, come on,
Well, that's a
that
crazy
can't be real.
fanatic. That's all he's doing.
Yeah, but actually, that's something that's giving you atma supersidity. It's giving you, once you get in the groove of it and really understand what it is, it's giving you life. It's giving you energy. It's giving you wisdom. It's giving you satisfaction. And
Sure.
meanwhile, we're saying, oh, yeah, I'll sit there and watch television for 6 hours a day. And it's giving us depression.
You know, there's something about the bait of Krishna consciousness. It's sort of like, I don't know. I mean, maybe with me, I wasn't attracted to it. It took a little bit to get the liking of it.
Yeah.
For me, you know, there's a sort of like a bitterness at first that gets extremely sweet, where the bait of the material world is quite exciting, and then you're like, what have I been doing for the
Like
last
eating
4
a bag of
hours?
potato chips. And
Yeah,
then you're
what
just,
have I
oh,
been
man,
doing?
feel
You know,
great.
it's so amazing, and this is why I love India so much. I'm so in love with this crazy, wonderful place. It's like I'm sitting giving a class this morning at the Yamuna, and to all the students, and I'm watching these Indians do tours, and they're like, you know, whatever, 25 years old, 30 years old, getting a tour, and they're going through all the different pastimes of Krishna, and the speakers just through the forest of Vrindavan,
here.
and they're all like attentive, and the boys are holding hands, and it's just like a fun outing. I was thinking, Americans would never do this. They would never do it, but they're like happy, satisfied. These guys probably aren't like the greatest devotees, but this is what they're doing as recreation or a school field trip or they're doing it. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the guys the monks just giving a lecture and telling a story. And they're all like, oh, very nice. Very good.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Beautiful
It's
culture.
really beautiful. It's just a sweet culture. All right.
Okay, ready?
Right now, she knows.
Text 6.
Text 6. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is always transcendental to material qualities, and therefore he is called nirguna, or without qualities. Because he is unborn, he does not have a material body to be subjected to attachment and hatred. Although the Lord is always above material existence, through his spiritual potency, he appeared and acted like an ordinary human being, accepting duties and obligations, apparently, like a conditioned soul.
Okay. So this is the answer to the question, is he impartial? Right off the bat, coming out and saying he's not even, by his nature, it makes no sense to even suggest that he's partial. Because one, he's nirguna. He has no material. It's our material conditioning that makes us think one person is our friend, one person is our enemy. But he creates those modes. He's beyond those modes. He's also prakrite para. He transcends the material nature, and he's svamaya gunam avisha. He enters the material environment by his own energy. It's like we enter, we get pulled and pushed by energies that are more powerful than us. He enters this realm by his own choice, by his own energy. So he's not struggling in the way, it's because we struggle. We struggle with fear that we feel friend, enemy. We become partial, right? He doesn't have those struggles. He's beyond the influence of those energies that create those kind of struggles. So from that very practical perspective, it just doesn't add up that he would be biased towards one person or another. 7.
Right now, that fly is my enemy. I'm not impartial right now. My dear King Pariksit, material qualities, Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, and
you know what? There's a good purport to 6. You want to read it?
purport?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hit that purport here. Here's the purport of 6. So-called attachment, detachment, and obligations pertain to the material nature, which is an emanation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But whenever the Lord descends and acts in this material world, he does so in his spiritual position. Although his activities materially appear different, spiritually they are absolute and non-different. Thus, it is an imposition upon the Supreme Lord to say that he is envious of anyone or friendly to anyone. In Bhagavad Gita 9:11, the Lord says clearly, Avajanantimam mudha manusim tanum asritam. Fools deride me when I descend in human form. Krishna appears on this earth or within this universe without any change in his spiritual body or spiritual qualities. Indeed, he is never influenced by the material qualities. He is always free from such qualities, but he appears to act under material influence. This understanding is aropita, or an imposition. Therefore, Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam. Whatever he does, being always transcendental, has nothing to do with the material qualities. Evam yo veti tatvataha. Only devotees can understand the truth of how he acts. The fact is that Krishna is never partial to anyone. He is always equal to everyone. But because of imperfect vision, influenced by material qualities, one imposes material qualities upon Krishna. And when one does so, he becomes a mudha, or a fool. When one can properly understand the truth, one becomes devoted and nirguna, free from material qualities. Simply by understanding the activities of Krishna, one can become transcendental. And as soon as one is transcendental, he is fit to be transferred to the transcendental world. Tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mam eti sarjuna. One who understands the activities of the Lord, in truth, is transferred to the spiritual world after he gives up his material body. Who can understand Krishna?
You know what I was thinking? We want to try to understand.
Yeah.
If you think back to when you're a little kid, like a real little kid, kids play, right? Like they fantasize.
Yep.
And they pretend they're different things. Like they pretend
Pirates.
Okay, pirates or
Cops. I always pretend I was a cop.
Cops, cowboys and Indians, different
baseball
things
player,
Like
famous baseball player.
yeah, but even with your friends, you would play roles, right?
Yeah, I'd have hats according to what I like. I had a postman hat. So my uncle was a postman, but I pretended it was a policeman's hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and did someone play the criminal?
Always.
And there would be some shooting probably going on.
Shooting, arresting, punishing, physical punishment.
Okay.
The crooks were generally smaller than me.
And when you're a kid, when you play like that, you actually fully immerse yourself in the role. You fully immerse yourself in the play.
Yes. Yes.
And so and there's something that the kids find that's satisfying, but they want to enter in and they want to play those roles, and they feel emotions and they feel excitement and so on. And really, although it's always challenging to say that's what Krishna's doing, but in some sense, that's what Krishna's doing. He's playing. You know, it's called Leela, which means divine play, and he's becoming immersed in it, deeply, deeply immersed in it, and through that experiencing rasa, experiencing exchanges of love. Like when he's on that battlefield, he's going through a war. Like we'd always play war when we were kids, right?
I played war too.
And he's become the chariot driver of his close friend Arjuna, and if he were just God sitting in a chair looking down on creation, he wouldn't be experiencing what is when he's driving that chariot, lost in the play, doing it out of love for his friend Arjuna, who has to win this battle.
And then there's all these other Leelas that are like hard to understand unless you're a devotee. It just seems like one of my favorite ones is Krishna the Coward, Ranchor Krishna, where Krishna's running away from the battlefield.
Subtle one, more subtle.
Yeah, it's like he's in the material world, if you're a coward, you're like shamed. Krishna is like glorified. He's worshipped in Gujarat as Ranchorji, Ranchor Roy. They love Krishna as the coward. He runs away from the battlefield. The Leela is like understood by the devotees as he's just doesn't want to fight now. He's already defeated him so many times, and now he just doesn't want
He's
to.
walking away from
He's
it.
just walking away from it.
Yeah. But if we were to judge a child that's playing a game of cops and robbers
Mhm.
and say, why is he being so
Rough.
no, well, being rough might be a problem. But in other words, like he really has animosity towards that other child.
Yes.
No. He's absorbed in the
It's part of the game.
play.
It's part of the game.
He's and Krishna, he enters into this realm to play. And because he's not a judge, because he's not some cruel tyrant, because he enjoys exchanges and love, he dives into the play. He may appear to someone to be partial to one side and the other, but actually he's merciful to everyone on every side of the play. Yeah. All right. What are you up to, Mayor? You getting started?
So, Mayor, we can't, Mayor.
I can't because you got the thing.
It's
Is
okay,
it
Mayor.
time? Yeah, it's all right. Take your
It's all
time.
right. You take your time. We got nothing going on here.
Yeah, that's, nobody's listening to this.
Oh,
Sorry,
Mara.
Chris, do you have your things?
You got some nuggets, Miss Mara?
Got your takeaways?
Okay,
What's
it's
going on
time
here?
for Mara. And this is the regal ladies of India. This is what we do next. We have Mara keeps very clever notes, and then she has what we call takeaways, or in our country, we call them goodies that we take with us.
Okay.
Mara, share the goodies.
Be inspired to serve like the devotee doctors and Titan entrepreneurs.
Ooh,
Titan
Titans.
Remember the Titans, they say.
Soul searching crises are a rite of passage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like that.
Nothing
Miss Mara.
embarrassing or shameful about it.
If we aren't feeling despair, we may not be spiritually clued in.
Okay. Yeah.
Feel it. Feel it. Welcome it. Embrace.
It's natural and nice to just binge in front of the murder television show
Yeah.
all day, every day.
Embrace despair. Raghunatha. It's a new cologne by Raghunatha. Despair.
Despair.
Sacred literature, it's one crisis after another.
It is.
Crisis by Raghunatha.
Remember Krishna more deeply when the calamity comes.
Calamity.
Calamity.
By Kastuba.
We're battling for who's got the best cologne name. There's like a marketing. You like calamity?
The Lord doesn't need our offering, but wants our love.
Okay, that's right. That's what he's interested
No
in.
cologne there.
Love.
By Kastuba.
Krishna is independent, but likes to be dependent on the devotees.
A fresh scent. Dependence by Raghunatha. A fresh, new, romantic scent. Go.
Keep the conversation high and always engage in Krishna Katha.
Krishna Katha, that's the real fragrance. right
Krishna
there.
Katha is the real fragrance. That's the takeaway.
Get baited by something that will lure you to God.
There you go. That's what you want to suck you in.
Yeah.
Binge on that.
Binge by
And
What does it smell like? Peanut butter?
like a bunch of peanut butter. It's a big mismatch of different flavors. Smells like peanut butter jelly, spaghetti sauce. What the heck? I'm eating veggie burger.
Binge.
Up late at night, binge. Left late at night into the morning hours, binge.
Binging Krishna gives you life. Binging TV gives you depression.
There you go.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. Join us again tomorrow. Doing it tomorrow, Saturday.
Yeah,
We're
just
still going to do
Q&A.
it same time though. 6 a.m. Q&A day. The regal ladies of India are welcome.
The Titans.
The Titans, as well as our good friend Mr. Tara, our teacher, our friend. Also very regal himself and very learned. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Oh, what
Wow.
is that?
Oh, someone figured out how to throw birthday cards. Thank you, whoever's wired all the back end stuff here.
Jai Shri Krishna.